This week on Title Talk, we're going to talk about some really weird transactions and how we got them to close. Hi, I'm James Brown, founder of Title Leap and Florida real estate lawyer.
And I am David Velez, Chief Development Officer of Title Leap and Closer Super Extraordinaire of James Brown Law.
All right, today we're going to talk about those unusual closing scenarios.
All right, so first of all, Jim, I remember last week we left off with kind of a little bit of a cliffhanger where the seller didn't want to leave. So what happened there?
We had some money sitting in escrow that everybody had agreed to park, and that was security that the seller didn't damage the property on their way out, and we had a little bit more money sitting there, which was credit to the buyer, so that if the seller did leave, we signed everything on Thursday. If the seller did leave by Friday, they were going to get a couple of days of credit against the purchase price.
All right, so what happened? Did the seller eventually just leave and it was a happy ending? Okay, well, that's good to hear.
Moving truck pulled up, seller left. We funded the transaction with all the money going back to the seller for security and the credit going back to the buyer for the offset for the couple days delay, for taxes and insurance and all those little prorations that can come up along the way. And the signing of the seller occurred in multiple parts, one of them in the hospital and the other one at home, because the seller actually was rushed off to the hospital just prior to the move out.
Oh wow, sounds like quite a hairy scenario there.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, but it all resolved successfully.
Well, that's good to hear. So we got a call the other day from an investor. They were interested in acquiring some property.
Oh, this is another unusual one, right?
It is. We have a lot of strange ones. So in this scenario here, the owners of the property, it was divided up in shares of 4 or 5, right?
5 people under an estate.
5 people under an estate. Okay.
Yep. So somebody passed away, 5 kids got the property.
Okay. And so it seems like one of the kids didn't want to sell the property?
4 kids wanted to sell, and the last one was holding out, and the investor had agreed to a price with the 4 of them, and the 5th one didn't want to play ball, so the 4 wanted to know what they could do, and the investor was calling attorneys kind of frantically, looking for a solution.
Okay, so ultimately, what did you tell him?
So I told him that he could purchase the 4 interests of the heirs that wanted to sell, and then he could contact the 5th person and say, listen, I'm going to have my attorney file a partition action, or you can sell me the property now, or we could go to full partition and get a court order that would force the sale of the property, and you can get whatever the auctioneer high bid would be, 1/5 of that bid.
Okay. So it seems like you would have to, it's almost like you would threaten to sue.
Right.
And then hopefully the hope would be that the person holding out would be like, oh, I don't want to go through all that. Let's just go ahead and sell and take their share. Okay.
So 90% of the time, we send a demand letter that says we're going to sue in partition, and then that one person, we get a lot of partners that call us, and the partners are stuck. And when we send that demand letter, first thing the stuck partner does is go to an attorney, and the attorney says you might as well settle or do an arm's length sale because you're going to get more money, and you're just going to spend money on attorneys unless they have some significant offsets like expenses or things like that. But there aren't a lot of defenses for the stuck partner, so the partition threat usually gets the stuck partner unstuck, and we're moving to the closing table.
All right, so they essentially say, oh, don't want to go through all this, let's do it the easy way.
And then the big benefit is, let's just say the stuck partner, sometimes they have an axe to grind. They're family members, they've been infighting their whole lives. If it does go to the partition sale, the benefit to the partner holding the 4/5 of the property, he could actually bid in that partition sale.
So he could theoretically get it for whatever price, and he would get that share of those proceeds, whatever interest he might
Exactly.
hold.
So on the day of the foreclosure sale, let's just say the property sells for $200,000. That's the high bid. He could literally give the clerk his share of the high bid, he's the high bidder, so he'd give the clerk the whole high bid, the $200,000, and the clerk would pass him back 4/5 of that $200,000, and the 1/5 would go to the other side. So
interesting.
Yeah. So there's a huge benefit to the partition, even if we can't get that stuck partner to settle pre-partition action.
So So now, earlier you mentioned something about going to a hospital to
Oh, this is the third weird one, yeah.
Yeah, so third weird one where it's like people might be kind of at the end of their...
Yep. So we got, so I call it end-of-life transactions. So we had family members contacting me. In one situation, we had the social worker at a hospital contacting me. And in the last transaction, there were 3 of them over a 1-week period where we were called into the hospital to get stuff done last minute. And in the last transaction, the son called me at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by a little bit before noon, we were signing deeds, life estate deeds with remainder interests into the son, so that the son could make the sale of the property happen after mom passed.
Okay, so this would avoid, a lengthy probate action, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And we couldn't send a notary in. In all those transactions, the people that were signing and the family members that were present, they wanted to understand legal issues. And so we couldn't send a notary. We had to send an attorney. But again, these are the kinds of things we like to do at Title Leap. We like to get all these, attorney solvable issues out of the way with the least pain.
And, at the end of the day, we definitely do have the resources to take care of these types of issues that can come up.
So if you encounter issues like these, give us a call. We can help.
Absolutely.
Oh, I think that might be an agent calling me now. Yes. Got to take this call. Can you wrap up?
Sure. So thanks for watching Title Talk with Title Leap, where we are all about empowering agents with the tools to succeed. Please be sure to hit subscribe and to follow us on social media for all our weekly updates.